Welcome back to Heart Path Podcast. I'm your host, Terra Kenzie Longacre, adventurer, author, transformational and spiritual embodiment coach, and retreat leader. In each episode, we will explore topics around spirituality, empowerment, divine embodiment, resiliency of the human spirit, and heart-based business and beyond. In this episode, we're going to talk about what to do when things are transitioning in your business. So this episode is for the humble hearts that are here to serve, the bold visionaries that are changing the game, and the heart-based biz entrepreneurs, baddies, insert your title there. What do you do when things are transitioning in your business? And even more, we could talk about what do you do when things, quote unquote, aren't working anymore? And this can happen in your business. And the first thing that you might want to do is panic. You might get a little frantic saying, why is this not working? This is my staple signature offer, or you've been doing something for years. So you could be saying this is your bread and butter. This is your main source of financial income, but it's starting to change and shift. And could we say, don't panic, but you have free will. You can do whatever you want to do. You might panic. I'm going to raise my hand. I've been there. And I will admit my business has gone through so many transitions since starting it over 10 years ago. There's been highs, there's been lows, there's been the questions of, am I insane to have my own business? Do I burn it all to the ground and walk away? I see you. I know I'm not alone because I talked to clients about this, colleagues about this. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. Having your own business, as rewarding as it is, okay, it's very rewarding. As rewarding as it is, there will be setbacks, there will be challenges, there will be those times where what you were doing and what you have been doing may no longer work. And it's nothing to do with you or how you've potentially messed things up. Like, you haven't done anything. Perhaps it's no longer a fit. It could even still be an alignment. Like, that's the whole thing too. You could say maybe it's not an alignment. It could still very well be an alignment. But at the same time, God, source, divine, higher self, the blueprint of your business, the path of your business is wanting to transform into something else, or is transforming into something else. And you can hold on, you can fight it, you can kick and scream, not wanting to let go or not wanting to go through the transitions. But from experience, I'm not just saying this to say this. I have experienced it myself. I have seen it with clients. So from experience, you can put the transitions off. You can avoid looking at it. But if it's not working, we don't want to ignore it. You don't want to ignore it. You want to even look a little bit deeper at what's not working? What has shifted for you? Is it, let's say if it's a course, are enrollments down? Is there not as much interest in it? What about you? Is your heart in it anymore? Do you still love what you're doing, or are you doing it because it's what you've always done? Are you doing it because it's been your financial security for your whole business? Because that's a huge thing too. If you're not enjoying what you're doing anymore and you're just powering through, just putting the course out there, putting that program out there, running the same client-based services that you've been doing because it's what you do. And this is where we're saying perhaps God, source, divine, like there are other plans for you. Your business is asking more from you. Perhaps even your clients. You might not even know. You're just doing what you've always been doing, but your clients might be wanting more from you. The future clients might be seeking more than what you're currently doing. So once again, it's not your fault that things aren't working. And when that happens, it's a wonderful opportunity to say, okay, Like, where have you been on autopilot? Where has your heart been invested? Where has it not? Because sometimes this doesn't necessarily mean that you're just walking away from everything. Okay. When things aren't working or you're feeling things transition, but you don't quite know what it looks like, it doesn't mean that you're completely throwing the towel on your business or even these offers. Like, that might not be it. In some cases it is. We're going to go there. But let's even start at the diagnostics approach of it. This might be an opportunity for you to look at, where does this need refinement, right? Are there outdated modules? Are there outdated materials? But because it's what you've always done and you're just doing it, you just keep pumping it out the same way. Even the way that you're teaching, things might transition as well. There could be advancements in whatever you're speaking about. So you also do want to be aware of that and follow the curve, right? If things are shifting in your field and what you're speaking about and what you're teaching or what you're offering, it's important to be mindful of that as well. So first things first, to look at, okay, so rewind, because I was going to say first things first. So yes, first things first is to look at everything in your business. So what you're offering, is it one-on-one with clients? Is it products? Is it courses, programs? So to look at that. So to look at your offer suite, we'll even call it first, and to look at what you're loving about it and what you might not fully have your heart in, what you feel indifferent about. And once again, we're not scrapping everything, but this is a huge thing. And sometimes the things that you're not fully loving anymore could be your steady source of income. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that might be true. So just to not avoid looking at it. Once again, I'm speaking from experience for myself and with clients. And when we resist, when we don't look at this, it's a downward spiral. So if things feel like they're stagnant or starting to go down, like, we have to stop and pause before it becomes a train wreck. But once again, you have free will. So looking at your offer suite, looking at what you're doing, looking at what you're really fired up about, what you're really passionate about. And sometimes you might be really passionate about the things that aren't working either. So this doesn't mean like, oh, your heart's not in it, so it's going downhill. No, you could be passionate about something and it's confusing to you because you're loving it and it's not quite working the way you thought it would, or not quite working the way you wanted it to. So to look, this is the refinement. So this is the looking, being curious of, okay, so what am I passionate about? What lights up my soul? Look there. Even do a number priority. Like, what would be your top pick? 1 to 5, whatever you've got. So after we've done that, then looking at these projects and what needs refinement, what needs to go, what can be refined, what do you want to work on, and what can you, in your heart of hearts, your truth of truths, are you looking at that is no longer a fit for you, for your business, or the direction it's going, and how you're here to serve. Because if you have a business, if you have started your own business, we could say financial freedom, because this is an interesting thing too. I did a workshop maybe 2 years ago. I was hired out to give a talk about the energetics of business. And it was for, these women starting their own companies. And it was kind of interesting because I was asking, open forum, like, why did you start this business? Why do you want to have this business? And it was kind of interesting because everybody was saying financial freedom. So I don't know if that was part of the training that they were going through, because I haven't had that where everybody wants financial freedom, but it was just interesting to have as in my experience learning, and then like, how do I pivot for what we're going to talk about in the energetics of business? But we can go deeper beyond the financial freedom, which is what we did, right? It's like, I'm hearing financial freedom from all of these women, but why is that important to you? Why do you want the financial freedom? And then, of course, the answers got a little bit more beneath the surface, into the heart of, I want more time. I want to spend time with my family. I want to be able to provide for my family this time. So we're saying financial freedom, that's what they wanted, but it was so much deeper than that. They actually wanted time. They wanted relationships with their family. So having the business was so much more. So even for you and your business, that could be very true for you. And a lot of the folks that I work with are in service-based businesses or have product, like, you're here to serve. You want to help make people's lives better, even in the tiniest way. Whatever you're doing and whatever you're offering, you're here to serve. And if you have this business, you're here to serve. So if you're looking at what you're providing right now and your offers and prioritizing like what you're most passionate about and where you're at now in business, because I'm in a different place than I was 10 years ago. Although there are some things that are still here that I was doing 10 years ago in my business, but there will be changes. And for you, what ways are you wanting to serve? How do you see yourself now with where you're at in business, in a serving capacity? Where do you see your business taking you to serve? What does that look like? And when you look at that and you match that with the services that you currently have, that might even show you indicators of, okay, I can refine this. I actually want to refine this, or this is going to go. This is no longer in the path of service that you and your business are walking anymore. And can we say there's nothing wrong with that? And it can be scary. It can be scary. You might end up making less money. You might end up you might end up making more money with these changes. It could be either or. But at the same time, when you're looking at, how am I here to serve? What am I passionate about? That takes on a whole new meaning when you're looking at your business. And perhaps there are other projects that are waiting to come in, and they might be different. They might have uncertainty, because that's so often, as humans, why we hold on to things, because we don't know the outcome. So if you've had things that were a sure thing, you don't want to let them go. But if they're not working anymore, are they still a sure thing? Right? This could be divine intervention as well. Something else could be waiting to come through to you. So the stream or the river is drying up because you might not have left it on your own accord. But so we have free will. This is the beautiful thing. We have free will. You get to choose how you're showing up in your business, what you're offering in your business. However, a huge piece of this, because to be an entrepreneur, you're not going to love everything you do. Okay. Like, you're not going to love every piece of the operations of running a business. But at the same time, if you're choosing to be an entrepreneur and have your own business, I'm sure you didn't start your business to once again be a slave to something that you don't enjoy. Like, so many folks have been in the 9-to-5. Some of you still are, and you're making your transitions and all of that. But you were already in this construct of not loving what you were doing. And that's why you left. So I'm sure starting the business, you're not wanting to once again for money to be doing what you're not enjoying. Once again, are you going to love everything in your business? No. And as you expand and grow, you can hire out folks to help support you with that. So then you don't have to worry, think, or do the things that you don't love, and focus on what you're passionate about in those creative spaces. But understanding when you're just starting, that's a little bit different. So could we say, look for where things can be refined, okay? Take an honest look at what might not be working for you that can be let go of as well. And if we're in that space, because it's like when we're clearing space, it's making room for the new. So you're letting go of something to make room for the new. So what is waiting to come through? What new projects are there? Some of you already know. Some of you already know, and you haven't necessarily known how to put it all together, or because you've been so attached to the sure thing, you're not letting the new things come through. So start to make a list of what else could be waiting to come through, or what is on the back burner waiting to come through, and how can you also focus some intention and focus towards that. And once again, like, we don't want to just burn it all to the ground. And I've been there, clients I've worked with have been there. It feels like it's easier, but at the same time, you've got some valuable programs already. Like, what you have is gold. We could say that, but maybe it just needs that refinement. And maybe, once again, like, some of the things need to be let go. So we're going to talk more about this as well, because it feels very important. And I just, like, for myself and my business as well, I want to share a lot of the things that I've been going through with transitions, and everything that I'm speaking about, like, I have walked through on my own and with clients. So I understand the fears. I understand the concerns. It's real. It's real, especially when, you are responsible for your livelihood, and, and all of that. It can be scary. But at the same time, things don't just stop working to stop working. Maybe it's even the way you're speaking. It could be the language. Are you using copy that you were using 3 years ago? Things have changed. People have changed. People are a lot more, people are not just looking for the quick fixes as much as they might have been 3 years ago. Like, of course there will be, but people are looking for depth. People want to know that what you are bringing to them is going to help them and is going to work. They're not necessarily going to just, oh, this sounds so amazing. Like, once again, there's a variety of people. Everybody's different. I've really learned that some folks will jump in on things instantly, don't even have any of the details, and other people just need, like, fine print, and both are perfect. Both are perfect. So really look at what are your sales pages looking like? How are you articulating what you're offering? How are you speaking to people? Like, what does all of that look like before we just put it all on the chopping block? So first look, what am I passionate about? Create the list of priorities, like most passionate to least. Where can I refine this? Start to refine it. And what needs to be let go? So what's waiting to come through, what I've been scared to bring through, can now come to the table to serve. Thank you for listening to today's episode. And before you go, I wanted to offer an opportunity for reflection and contemplation. Was there anything in this episode that inspired you, or that you can use in your life moving forward? If so, what was it? Was there something about this episode that made you feel uncomfortable or charged, perhaps even triggered? Was there anything that was brought up in this episode that made you feel seen and understood? Taking a moment to bring those reflections into the sacred space of your heart or journal, and you can share them with me on social media. I'd love to hear how this episode impacted you. If you enjoyed this episode, please share, like, comment, share with a friend, share with all your friends. I appreciate you. Lots of love. Mwah.